Raiders! Turn on a flashlight, flip a light switch, strike a match, just light something on fire. Welcome to Murph's Fan Cave from the Dago Dungeon. Join me, Uncle Mosh, as we join Raiders Fan Radio, taking a lighter journey into the dark side.
Okay, we're back. Look left, look right, Bolitnikov, a leaking pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Intercepted by Khalil Mack. Touchdown! Raiders!
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most seamless, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Well, I love this team. I think this team can win.
What is up, Raider Nation? Your old buddy Murph back here again for another fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Welcome into Murph's Man Cave, where we do our fine little show about the Oakland Raiders and all things Raider Nation. Thank you for joining us here, as always, for episode number 86. Always naming our shows after a player. We will get to that in just a second. But first, let me welcome in my co-host, my wingman.
Hey, man.
Welcome to Murph's Man Cave. I keep calling Murph's Fan Cave. Uncle Mosh.
Hey, it's good to be here. Hey, did you say our final show or our fine little show?
Oh, no, fine little show. It should be our final show.
You said...
Did I say final show?
Is there a pink slip waiting for me on the way out? What the heck, man?
I'm going to need your keys, your laptop, and HR's waiting to talk to you downstairs, Uncle Mosh.
Ay.
I know.
You scared me there.
No, not our final show. Our fine show.
Our fine show.
Fine.
It's
yeah,
a fine
that's our fine show. So, okay. So before we get going tonight, Uncle Mosh, well, first off, let me say this. We have episode number 86. We're going to get to our player here in a minute. We're going to talk a little bit about 4th of July. The relation is to Raider Nation.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about the news and or lack thereof when it comes to the second week of July. Holy cow. It's desolate out there, Uncle Mosh. And then we have our Return to Excellence. We're going to feature one of those this week. But the highlight of this week's show, and we hope Raider Nation enjoys it as much as we did being part of it, interview with long snapper Andrew DePaola for the Oakland Raiders. Man, what a cool guy. What a fun interview. And so we look forward to sharing that with you, Raider Nation. But anyway, before we get to that, we have some new logos. All right, so we have diversified here on Raiders Fan Radio. So we have Murph's Fan Cave, which is kind of like the network, featuring flagship show Raiders Fan Radio, which you're listening to right now. The recently named the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz.
Nice.
And that is Chuck McCann, our buddy Chuck McCann, president of the New Jersey chapter of the Black Hole, has started his new show, and we were going to release that first episode for you soon, so looking forward to sharing that with everybody. In fact, I just got it today. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet,
Are
Mosh.
you going to send out a message like on the Twit or the Facebook or something like that? Let everybody know what it is?
Yes, we will definitely do that. So anyway, so that's one, the second show to be released under the Murph's Fan Cave umbrella. So we have a new logo, right? So we had a new Murph's Fan Cave logo. We're going to get new logo for Chuck's show. Our show, Raiders Fan Radio, here has a new logo, and we have like a logo for us. Like, so mine's the Murph's Fan Cave thing.
Right.
And then I made one for you.
I love that.
And you love that.
I love it.
And what did you say, though, about that logo?
I said it looks like my bad Santa photo.
But you mentioned it didn't have hair.
Yeah. No, it didn't have any hair on the top of its head.
All right. Okay, so Uncle Mosh, you're an actor. You're a theater teacher.
Okay.
So for all those listening, it's only audio. There's no visual. So I need you to sell this for us, Mosh. You got to sell this. We've got a new logo reveal, and I've got it for you emblazoned on your very own T-shirt.
Oh, no. It's got hair. It looks like Dracula hair. I love it.
Yeah.
I got Dracula hair.
You got Dracula. So
and it's white. Like my real
like your
hair.
real hair. Salt and pepper. Yeah.
Nice. What size?
It's a XXX.
Nice.
So
this is awesome.
So I figured, it'll shrink to fit. You know what I mean?
And we got a little technical difficulty with our video today, or I'm holding it up to a camera that's not on for those of you that aren't looking.
We'll get a picture of that, and we'll put it out on the twits and the Facebooks.
Yeah. Hey, will I twit this?
Do you want to twit a picture of you wearing your new shirt?
Will you do that for me?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll
we'll
twit
tweet you, and I'll even Instagram you.
Instagram.
I'll put you on the gram, as the kids say.
Oh, yeah. I'm gramming it.
You're gramming it, man. You're big time. But anyway,
Sweet.
So we got a new logo for Uncle Mosh there. And sorry, no YouTube feed tonight.
So this will be my official garments every time I do a show.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does it smell like new ink on there?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
for those of you that were wondering what that sound was,
Uncle
that
Mosh
was
getting high on his
smelling. Sniffing my shirt.
If he starts nodding out in a couple minutes, we'll know why.
It's not the first time I've done a smell test on a garment either.
Usually it's ones that have been
Usually it's the ones in the corner.
Yeah. All right, so thanks again for joining us here for another episode of Raiders Fan Radio. And Uncle Mosh, don't say anything, but we're going to go to Uncle Mosh so you can tell you how to get in touch with us.
Hey, boys and girls, this is Uncle Mosh. That's right. Somebody actually claims Sonny and Murph. These two. Check them out on their website, RaidersFanRadio.com. You can friend them on Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio, or you can like their fan page at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. Hey, I don't tweet. I don't even know how to use a Twitter. All right, I got the Twitter and the Facebook. But, it's just like that fancy lawnmower in my garage. I hire a kid to use it. Hey, nonetheless, keep up with us on Raiders Fan Radio and all those other things. I'm doing the best I can. Oh, man. Call them. Leave a voicemail if you want. Go old school. 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Hey, do this. Please subscribe and rate Raiders Fan Radio on iTunes. You can listen to the show on all podcast services like Stitcher, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, and many, many more. Okay, am I done? Did I say all the stuff I was supposed to say? All right, I'm out of here.
If you could only see, well, you will see when I tweet it out. Hold on, let me do a picture of this. Okay, right there. Okay, Uncle Mosh is doing the Cornholio need TP for my bunghole with his new Uncle Mosh t-shirt.
The great Cornholio.
All right, so thanks for joining us once again. So here on episode number 86 of Raiders Fan Radio, we always name our shows after a player. Episode number 86, 86, when you think about Raiders, there's not a bunch that jump out, but there's one for sure. Do you have one that jumps out at you? And then I'll give you mine.
Yeah.
I got a cool one, and a lot of it's personal for me.
Okay.
Do we have the same one?
Gerald Irons?
No. Go ahead. Tell me about number 86, Gerald Irons.
Gerald Irons also had a kid who played for the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. His kid, Grant, played for us played 41 games from 03 to 06. But Gerald Irons had, what a name.
That's Gerald a great football name.
Irons,
yeah, great football name.
Great guy. Played I don't remember. I didn't write it down, but it was like 50 consecutive games, and then got traded to Cleveland and finished out in like 75. He played from 72 to 75. So he just missed the Super Bowl with the Raiders, but he went on to be on Cleveland's top 100 all-time players.
Really?
Yeah, and he did all kinds of cool stuff.
Okay. Good one, Mosh.
Yeah. But because I remembered him, because that was when I started watching football. Back in the day, And
he was number 86.
He was number 86, and so I looked it up. I checked it out and looked it up, and I didn't know, but he's had a ton of family members that have gone on to play ball, but his son. So
like a Matthews kind of family.
Yeah. But I had some other stuff. We'll get back to you on 86.
Okay. All right. Well, let me give you my 86.
Let me hear what you got.
Okay. So I have Swervin' Mervin Fernandez. And that is going to be the official for 86.
Okay.
And now here's why. So I'm going to read you some stuff about Swervin' Mervin, and the dots are going to start to connect with you as you hear these. Okay. So Swervin' Mervin Fernandez wore number 86. He's from Merced, California, originally born there. But he played wide receiver, and he went to college at San Jose State. Before that, he played high school football at Andrew Hill High School.
Oh, no way.
In San Jose, California, where
where you
played
went to
high school football. And okay, so Mervin Fernandez wore number 86, and he had his best year with the Raiders in 1989. I started playing football at Andrew Hill High School in 1990 and wore number 86 because he wore number 86.
Wow.
Mervin Fernandez was a beast. So Mervin Fernandez, standout wide receiver for Andrew Hill High School in San Jose, California, where he picked up his famous nickname, Swervin' Mervin Fernandez, from the team's quarterback. He also had the same coach. We had the same coach, Jack Germain. My year playing at Andrew Hill was Coach Germain's last year of coaching at Andrew Hill High School, and now the field is actually named Jack Germain High School. So Mervin went on to play at De Anza Junior College,
where you played.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm like, wow, we got so much. I didn't know about the De Anza connection until I started checking out Mervin, but I, of course, did remember the high school connection, and also Jim McMahon went to Andrew Hill as another connection, but that's not a Raider connection. Anyways, but so Mervin Fernandez plays at De Anza and then goes on to San Jose State, where the Raiders, actually, I take that back. He was drafted, he played for the Los Angeles Raiders, but he was actually drafted into the Canadian Football League and went and had a really, really successful career in the Canadian Football League. And then eventually the Raiders drafted him in the 1983 draft with the 10th pick. So back then there was a lot more picks and a lot more rounds than there were in today's game. He was the 227th pick in the 10th round. So Fernandez spent his entire 6-year career from 87 to 92 with one team, the Los Angeles Raiders. During that span, Fernandez played in 86 games. And listen to this. This is what gets interesting about Fernandez. Played in 86 games. 86.
Yeah.
Right? And amassed 209 catches for 3,764 yards and 19 touchdowns. He never made the Pro Bowl, but he did make his impression on the record books. His 209 career catches are 10th most in Raiders history. Would you have funked that? Yeah. And also his 3,764 career receiving yards ranks him number 8 all time.
We got to get him on the show.
I know, right? He lives in Morgan Hill now, which is where we have family from.
Our family's from, yeah.
So he has his 18 average yards per catch is first among any receiver to wear the silver and black. Now, number one as far as receiving average per catch. Arguably, here we go. Fernandez's finest year was in 1989. Okay, so my sophomore year in high school, where he made 57 catches for 1,069 yards and 9 touchdowns. He led Raiders receivers in every major category and became only the 6th Raider to gain over 1,000 yards in a season. Swervin' Mervin Fernandez from San Jose, California. How cool is that?
That's awesome. So he wore 86 in 86.
Yeah. Did he? When did it say that?
What did you say? He played from when to when?
87. No, he just missed in 80 because he went to the CFL, played for the BC Lions to start. So from 82 to 86, he was a BC Lion, even though he was drafted by the Raiders, and then he came and finally started playing for the Raiders in 87. So he just missed it. That would have been cool. That would have been a cool connection.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, fun stuff.
That is so cool. That's really cool. Well, that just blows Lady Gaga's birth year all to hell.
Oh, yeah. Don't go there. Don't go there.
How about Usain Bolt?
Nah.
He was born in 86.
Nah. That's
what about the top 3 movies of 86?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, let me guess. Let's see. So there's no Star Wars there. There's no
There is kind of a universal connection, though. I mean, a lot of things happen in the outer sphere.
Because that was so Back to the Future was 85, 86. So that's in between.
I'll give them to you.
I'll
give you 2. I'll give you Top Gun and Platoon.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and then other than Godfather 2, one of the best sequels of all time came out in 86. Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, Aliens come out? Oh, yeah. Nice one, Mosh.
It was also, but the all-time best sequel, Halley's Comet.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was the second time. It was the 1 century.
Where it came
twice.
Yes.
Yeah. But my favorite thing about 1986.
Okay.
One of my all-time favorite things. One of my young adult era heroes, Mike Tyson. Won the heavyweight championship. Became the youngest heavyweight. It was before he went crazy, before the facial tattoos.
That was back when he was knocking fools out in 30 seconds
he was coming on with just a towel with a hole cut in it.
Yeah.
It was the pre-Don King era. Yeah. Okay. Sorry,
one,
Lady
Mosh.
Gaga. You didn't do well.
All right, so there you go. So number 86. So we're going to go officially. We're going to go with Mervin Fernandez. Who's your guy? Gerald Irons?
Gerald Irons.
Great.
Look
That's a
him
good
up.
runner-up, man.
Yeah. Oh, the
When
other
did he
thing,
play?
He was a linebacker. He was a last.
When did he play? Give me his years.
72 to 75.
Oh, that's right. You said that.
Yeah, 72 to 75. But he was a linebacker wearing 86.
Oh, that's legit. So him and Hendricks were back there, 86 and 83.
Yeah, he was.
That's cool.
Oh, he was a beast.
That's cool.
And he's gone on to do. I mean, they named his whole family is big in business in Texas, and he's been all over the world as an ambassador. He's still like 71 years old. He's still a great guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know about. I needed. There you go.
Went to
learned me
college
something about Raider history tonight. Hopefully.
Got his master's while he was with the Raiders, and then went on to get a law degree while he was at Cleveland.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So he's a
In the
smart guy, too.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Learn me something there.
Sorry.
That's a good one, Uncle Mosh.
Thank you.
So Mervin Fernandez and Gerald Irons. We'll call it not even 1 and 1A. We'll just call it both of them.
Yeah.
86 and 86, man.
86 and 86.
Yeah, with co-representation on this episode.
Love that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
This is Pete Koch, former Raiders, Los Angeles Raiders, that is, defensive end. And you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, Uncle Mosh. It was just recently the 4th of July this last week. We had celebrated the 4th. It was 242 years of Great Nation, right? So pretty cool holiday. Really an interesting connection for us as Raider Nation is that the man that birthed Raider Nation was also birthed on that day, on July 4th. So if you weren't aware, Al Davis would have been 89 years old on July 4th. Pretty cool. I like the idea. You know, it's probably a little bit of an over-dramatization for us, but hey, man, this is Raiders Fan Radio. This is what we're all about. And so I think it's cool that the guy that birthed Raider Nation shares a birthday with our nation. Like, that's awesome. I think it's
awesome.
I think it's really fun.
Birth and nations all in one.
Yeah. It's really cool connection. So, so if you weren't aware of that, definitely. I don't know. There's not really anything to check out. Just be aware of that. That's pretty neat.
That's a cool
Al
thing.
Davis was born on the 4th of July. So, I went in not a Murph's black hole, but I did go up and dig up some other fun connections on birthdays.
Okay.
I thought would be fun. The undisputed champion of famous people born on a day, Halloween. Michael Landon, John Candy, Rob Schneider, and Vanilla Ice, all born on Halloween.
Wow.
Might explain a lot. A couple of New Year's Eve birthdays, Anthony Hopkins and Val Kilmer.
Clarice.
Do the fava beans, Mosh.
A census taker one time tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
That is Uncle Mosh's favorite movie, for those who don't know.
All-time
favorite movie. So, Anthony Hopkins and Val Kilmer, born on New Year's Eve. There you go.
Wait, I got some more for Al. Let's share a birthday with Al.
Oh, there. Thank you. We'll give it.
Calvin Coolidge, President of the United States.
Wow.
George Steinbrenner.
No.
Yes, George Steinbrenner
You're kidding.
and Al Davis shared a birthday.
Mind
did you not
blown.
know that? Yeah.
No,
right?
I did not
Yeah.
know that.
How crazy.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, the two guys that have fired more people in their respective leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about guys that have a lot in common, huh?
Yeah, and then you go.
That's bananas.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes,
yeah,
I did not know that.
trendsetters. That's nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, of course, in the entertainment world, the two that made their names in gossip, Ann Landers and Geraldo Rivera.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Both born on the 4th of July.
Both born on the 4th of July.
Wow.
But to top that, here's your Murph trivia for the
Okay.
day.
All right.
Name me 3 of the first 5 presidents that died on the 4th of July.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Wow, I have no idea. I don't know.
1826, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. And
No
John
kidding.
Adams' last words were, well, I guess Jefferson outlived me, but he didn't. He had actually died 5 hours before.
Oh, no
Yeah.
way. They died on the same day?
In 1826. And then in 1831, James Monroe died.
Unbelievable.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Good one, Mom.
Yeah, okay.
Very nice. Nicely done. All right, so there you go. So we got a little bit of 4th of July history for you there.
We love the 4th of
We love the
July.
4th of July here on Raider. And the reason that you're hearing all that from us is because the news front in Raider Nation, it's a desolate wasteland, Uncle Mosh.
Saddle up, little buckaroos. Raiders fans are for life. Other podcasts have taken the long dirt nap. But you've got Raiders Fan Radio. We're the wagon you've hitched your horses to. Mosey along with us as we ride out of the light and ride off into the dark side.
All right, Uncle Mosh. It is, yeah. It's a barren wasteland. It is the Great Plains. It is just not a lot going on. But not that we like to keep our stuff kind of field related. There's not really a lot going on field related wise. There's been some other rankings and some things that have happened this week. But it's pretty slim pickings when it comes to Raider news for this week. But thankfully, the NFL Network, as they do, kind of showed up this week in terms of a little bit of Raider talk. Good Morning Football came to the rescue in this desolate wasteland of no news. And on the show, they're doing a cool feature this past week where they were discussing who owns a particular division. Now, that could be based on whatever criteria you wanted to use, who has had the most success here lately, who's going to have success in the future, who most represents any particular division. And so they had a fun discussion about the AFC West, and it went around between the Broncos and the Chiefs. And then thankfully, Kyle Brandt, co-host of the show, came to the rescue in terms of the Oakland Raiders, and this was his take on who owns, Uncle Mosh, the AFC West.
Come on, Kyle.
I really wrestled with this one for personnel in the AFC West because they got a lot. I love watching Phillip Rivers. He's rubber-faced, one of the most watchable athletes. I love the dad sensibility he has. Von Miller, obviously a rock star in Kansas City. I love watching Andy Reid off-season, in-season. But I'm going to go with the Oakland Raiders, the soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders, because how are you more watchable than Rivers and Vaughn? It's the Raiders fans. Tune in any Raiders game. I don't care if they're up 60 or down 60. Give me one shot of the black hole, and I'm completely riveted, no matter what their record is, no matter what stadium they're playing in, who their quarterback is. They got a Predator right there wearing a Marshawn jersey. That's one of 32 teams. What's that guy doing? Hey, yo,
Beer's face.
They don't care what their record is with their players. It's always them. It's always there, and it's a very exciting time to be a Raiders fan. What's up, Big Derek Carrhead? I almost said David. Derek Carrhead. That's it. So I'll go with Raiders.
Are they the GOAT division for personality?
NFC South is good, but I'm going to go AFC West. I think across the board, there's massive watchability from the players.
How about that, Uncle Mosh?
Wow.
Yeah, giving it up for not only Raider Nation, but having the most personality in the division. What do you think?
I love it. I love that he called him rubber-faced Phillip Rivers.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
pretty good. That's amazing. And a shout-out to the fans.
Heck yeah,
and we
man.
are Raiders Fan Radio,
That's
you know?
it.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I like how he talks about, Raider Nation represents, man. Doesn't matter what stadium, doesn't matter what the score is.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Raider Nation's always there and proud of it.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
that
pretty good stuff.
So
Pretty cool there. So thanks to the folks there at Good Morning Football holding it down and representing Raider Nation for sure. All right, so Uncle Mosh, I think that's it for this segment. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay, let's go.
Because there's no news. You're listening to Uncle Mosh's Super Stories of the 70s from the Oakland Coliseum. Here's Uncle Mosh.
One time I was driving home from a game with your dad, and we were riding home, and Sonny's dad and Murph, your other Uncle Murph, we're in the car.
Yeah, the original, the OG Uncle Murph.
The OG Murph.
Yeah.
We're in the car next to us, right? So I don't remember what happened. Your dad was running late, and I was running late or whatever. So we took two separate cars up there. We're coming home. We're driving down back to San Jose, and we're side by side, and we're doing something, and there was traffic, as there's always traffic, and we're throwing things out the window on the interstate, right? We're throwing things back and forth at each other. And I can't remember. And Sonny's dad and Murph, they're pointing. They're pointing in front of us. And me and your dad are just looking at them. We're cracking up. And I don't know, I'm throwing beer cans at them or something out the window. And all of a sudden, your dad just goes, bam! And he hits the woman right in front of us. He just smacks her, right? We're like, so they start laughing. Well, they speed off, right? They speed off. And so this woman starts to slow down. And so your dad's pointing. He's like, no, get off on the next exit, right? So she turns on her hazard lights, and we barely tapped her. I mean, there wasn't even any damage. So your dad's like, no. So he gets over and he's like waving her.
This
over.
is on 880?
This is on 880, yeah. And so he gets over, and so we get out. We were in the fast lane, so we move over to the next one, and then he gets over to the next one. He's waving her on in front of us, for her to get over to take the next exit, right? And she gets over, right? And so he goes over to get on the exit, and she kind of swerves over and speeds up down the exit, and your dad pulls back onto 880 all the way to San Jose. Never saw that woman again.
Oh,
of course, we never took that car to Oakland again. But yeah.
Oh, my, and you were what, 14?
I think so.
Oh,
14,
my
15.
gosh.
Statute of limitation has run out on that, so I can tell that story.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
All right, so next up here on Raiders Fan Radio, we have the this week's Return to Excellence, where we have gone on and are reviewing the audio documentary of the year 2000 season. And so this week we are featuring the bounce back game in the Big Easy, and where the Raiders went in and beat the New Orleans Saints because, as we heard last time, Greg Papa, Captain Sadsack, after that wonderful, job they did about the celebrating our second win against the Chiefs, here they came back, and then he said, and then they got crushed by the Donkeys, and here's how. Thanks, Greg. But anyway, so after that, now the Raiders have bounced back against the New Orleans Saints this week.
The Raiders were looking to bounce back in the Big Easy.
All right, kick off, cover, let's go, baby!
Early in the game, defensive end Lance Johnstone would make a play that would change the Saints' season and the Saints' future.
Jeff Blake out of a shotgun. Joe Horn was in the backfield. Now he goes right. Now he comes back left. Inside fake to Morton. Blake at a bootleg out, being chased by Johnstone. Throws the ball away. Avoids the sack. And he is not called for grounding. He got way outside the tackle box. The Raiders are pleading for that. And Blake is hurt.
The quarterback had rolled out of the pocket.
Jeff Blake is hurt. He is on his back, writhing in pain.
After Janikowski's 39-yard field goal, the Raiders turned it up a notch when Rich Gannon found Andre Rison for a touchdown to make it 10-0 Raiders.
Gannon a straight five-step drops, look left, pressured from the backside, gets away from the one sack, now being chased by Mitchell, throws, got Rison, 15-10, Rison to the 5, and Rison takes it all the way, he's in, touchdown, Andre Rison. What a play by Rich Gannon. A 34-yard masterpiece by Gannon.
The Raiders look to continue to pour it on a Saints defense, which came into the game ranked number 3 in the NFL. Zach Crockett, filling in for the injured Tyrone Wheatley, helped the Raiders do that very thing with this touchdown run to make it 17-zip.
Here's Crockett up the middle. Crockett's into the end zone, standing. Touchdown, Raiders. He ran right through Sammy Knight, making it look easy here in the Big Easy.
But the Saints were not about to go away. And with quarterback Jeff Blake knocked out of the game with that broken ankle, rookie quarterback Aaron Brooks ignited the offense.
Fake a wide receiver screen, now throw downfield, wide open inside the 30. 25-15, this will be a touchdown for New Orleans and Willie Jackson.
The Raiders still held a 17-7 advantage at halftime, but Doug Bryant of the Saints made a couple of field goals to cut the lead to 17-13. The Raiders were reeling at this point and needed a shot in the arm, delivering touchdown Timmy Brown.
Dudley and Brigham now right winger right, Rison left, now Brigham to the flex out. Anybody on him? Pump fake for Rison, come back for Brown! Touchdown Raiders! As Tim Brown cooks Kevin Mathis.
Zach Crockett then added his second touchdown of the game to give the Raiders a 31-16 advantage. The Saints would score once more, but the Raiders held on for a 31-22 victory, improving their season record to 9-2.
That's the way we hit.
Picking up that 9th victory of the year had been the problem for the Raiders the last couple of years. And Tim Brown acknowledged that the team was glad to get the monkey at last off their back.
Well, it's huge for us, no doubt about it. You know, I think it's not something that we talk about really, but I'm sure it's something that the media wants to bring up. And if we had lost today, I'm sure it would have been stirred up even more this week. But, you know, you heard a couple guys saying it in the locker room when we came off the field. We got our 9th win, so let's go ahead and get to 14 now. So, you know, it's just one of them things, man. We know we're a good football team, and we just had to go and get it done today.
All right, Uncle Mosh, here we go. The Raiders get their 9th win against the Saints. You know, a couple of notes there. Listening to that, it makes me think to how that's going to translate to what the Raiders are going to do this year, that influence of John Gruden. And I feel like we talk about it every time we listen to one of these, but Zach Crockett punches the ball in from short distance again. Like, if we don't do that with Marshawn, I think it's just right.
What do you say? Making it look easy in the Big Easy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Running people over on his way into the end zone.
From 17-yard line? Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, it's just like that's got to be what we get back to. And then one other fun little note on that one, quarterback Aaron Brooks, who ended up being the Raiders quarterback not long after that. So, yeah, pretty fun. Pretty good stuff this week.
That's all I got.
Good.
I need my cricket button.
Yeah. I need a cricket button, yeah.
Hey, just one time, I need it.
Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, Uncle Mosh, earlier this week, I had a chance to catch up with one of the newest Raiders.
Who? Who was it?
Andrew DePaola, as a matter of fact.
Long snapper.
Long snapper. He is the best long snapper in the NFL.
In the entire league.
No doubt. No doubt about it.
Who does he play for?
Our beloved Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we had a great opportunity to chat with Andrew, and he was very gracious with his time. About a 20-some-odd minute interview. We had a chance to talk to him, talk about a lot of things on and off the field, and so really excited to share that with you, Raider Nation. Hope you guys like it, and we'll go ahead and get to that right now. All right, Raider Nation, my guest was born in Parkton, Maryland, where he was a multi-sport athlete at Hereford High School, including winning the football state championship in 2002. There he went on to a successful quarterbacking career, and his senior year threw 22 touchdowns, completed 68% of his passes, and threw for over 2,000 yards and set a state record for 636 points. Also at Hereford, he played baseball his senior year, hit .527, and had a 3-1 record as a starting pitcher. From there, he goes on to Rutgers University as a quarterback, then a wide receiver, and then a long snapper. Undrafted out of Rutgers, he is signed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he plays all the way up until 2016. Last year, played a season with the Chicago Bears, but most importantly, and the reason we have him here on Raiders Fan Radio is that he is now signed with the Oakland Raiders, the highest paid long snapper in the NFL, and he joins us here on Raiders Fan Radio. Welcome, Andrew DePaola. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, Andrew, first off, did you have a happy 4th of July? Any time to enjoy with family or anything?
Yeah. So actually, my wife's family, they do a week-long trip down in Outer Banks, North Carolina, and I was able to join her and go down with them for a couple of days. So that's where I was. Just spending time with them, kind of get away and enjoy some time on the beach.
That's cool. Now, 4th of July, it's got to be one of the few holidays that you guys actually get a chance to celebrate on the day of the holiday itself, right? Because during the holiday season, you all are playing and practicing and everything, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I never really thought about it until you just brought it up. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, it is one of the very few holidays we actually get to enjoy on the actual day.
So what about your off season? How's it been going? I guess congratulations, you just got married. So aside from planning a wedding, how's your off season been going as far as activities go?
It was awesome. I mean, like you said, most of it was taken up with the wedding planning, which I was very heavily involved in. So we were able to do that together and then experience that May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, when we tied the knot. We actually recently just got back from our honeymoon. We went over to Hawaii, spent 10 days over there, so that was just paradise. But besides that, it's been great. It's been amazing.
That's cool. They say that there's the 10 most stressful things you can do in life, and 3 of those are moving, new job, and getting married. So the 3, I think you've got all 3 of those going on this off season, don't you?
Yeah, I went ahead and checked those 3 off my list. So hopefully I don't have to do any of those anytime soon.
So how's the move going? Are you out on the West Coast yet? Are you and your wife going to relocate there, or because we know, as I mentioned, you're from Maryland, you're from the East Coast, so what's that like for you, and what do you think of the West Coast so far?
So actually, my first time being on the West Coast, other than playing games, was to come out to Oakland and sign my contract, and then eventually move out there to start up the off season and OTAs. And so far, we love it. I mean, the weather is absolutely amazing. The people have been so nice that we've met. The food has been outstanding. We're really excited to actually settling out here in Oakland, and we actually just got our place July 1st. Like I said, we were just on vacation with her family, so we haven't moved in yet. But once we get back to Oakland, all our stuff is currently in one of those, I guess they're called pods, one of those storage pods that you can just kind of fill up and move. So once we get back, we'll unload that and settle in, and we'll be there for however long the Raiders allow us to be.
That's cool. That's cool. Hopefully, I'll be for a long, long time. We're looking forward to watching your career unfold as an Oakland Raider for sure. So being from Maryland, how about our show is Raiders Fan Radio, and it's all about being a fan of the Raiders and everything about the Raiders and Raider Nation and whatnot. How about you growing up in Maryland? Who were your players? Who were the teams you were fans of?
I was a huge baseball fan growing up, and I was a huge fan of the Baltimore Orioles. I loved, Cal Ripken, Eddie Murray, Brady Anderson, watching those guys play. So I was a huge fan of them. And we actually didn't get a football team here until '96. That's when Cleveland Browns came down and became the Baltimore Ravens. So as a young kid, I was really into baseball and the Orioles. And then the Ravens getting into town, I followed them when they had Jonathan Ogden, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, eventually got Terrell Suggs, and they won a Super Bowl when I was, I think, in middle school. So it was a good time to be a fan of them as well. So yeah, I mean, Baltimore has pretty rich history, pretty rich sports history. But like I said, my team growing up was definitely the Baltimore Orioles.
That's cool. That's good. Now, being a former quarterback, I mean, you got some pretty good quarterback lineage there from Maryland, too. Boomer and Frank Reich and Neil O'Donnell. And were you aware of those guys growing up and their careers?
To be honest with you, I really wasn't. Like I said, when I was younger, I wasn't the biggest football fan. So I really didn't know more about those guys until I got into college and really started to get into football. And not just, me playing, but the fan side of it, and really starting to see who these players were, what their backgrounds were, because as a kid, as a young kid, you just think that these star players on your favorite team, lived in that town, grew up in that town, and just became players for that team, and then when you get older to realize that they're guys from different parts of the country that have actual backgrounds, and you delve into that a little bit more, you get to understand who they are. So I definitely did do my research on Maryland-born and Maryland-bred athletes, and especially football players, and where they came from and what their upbringing was. But like I said, I didn't get more into that until I was in college.
As you bring up, it is an interesting study, because we as fans, we get so tied up into our teams and the players. And you're right, and those teams are, or the players are always from such diverse backgrounds. It's unique, and that's one of the things that we like to do on our show, and reasons that we like talking to guys like you is that we want to, we're all Raider Nation in Oakland, and now going to be Vegas and all this stuff. But like learning about you and your life on the East Coast is really interesting for us as fans. So talk a little bit about that. So you played quarterback in high school. You played quarterback at Rutgers, and then you transitioned to wide receivers, I mentioned, and then long snapper. Tell us about kind of the evolution of your football career and how you started off really doing one thing and your love of baseball, and then how that you ended up being a long snapper, Andrew.
Oh man, taking me back with all the quarterback talk. I guess when I was in middle school, I went to football practice with a friend of mine. I was just hanging out, just watching. My mom really didn't want me to play football. She thought it was too violent. She was scared I was going to get hurt. So my dad took me to a football practice with a friend of mine who was playing. A ball happened to roll over my direction, and my dad was like, "Hey, why don't you go help him out, throw that back?" So I threw it back, and I don't know how far it was at the time, 30, 40 yards, and I just hucked it, threw it to him with a pretty decent spiral, and going back to sit with my dad, and the coach was like, no, you come here. I was like, oh God, I'm in trouble. So he's like, here, do that again. And he threw me the ball. I was like, all right. Threw it to him. Same thing, spiral right to him. And he was like, yeah, we got to get this guy, pads. And I was like, oh, man, what did I just do? And I can remember, signing up right then and there, getting my pads and getting in the car. And I'm looking at my dad. I'm like, Dad, it's all right. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I think so. I'm like, oh, God, Mom's going to kill me. He's like, no, Mom's probably going to kill me. So, became quarterback when I was younger. Kept it all through high school. Got recruited to play quarterback in college. Walked on at Rutgers University. I was, third and fourth string there. My entire career. Really wanted to play. So I talked with Coach Schiano, who was the head coach there at the time. He allowed me to switch and play receiver. Not sure if he really knew anything was going to come out of it, but I wound up actually working my way up the depth chart and earning a bunch of playing time that year as a receiver. Played a bunch of special teams. I always kept that snapping card in my back pocket, though, just in case we needed it. And turns out that year, which was my fourth year, so it was my redshirt junior year, our long snapper did tear his ACL at the end of the year. I jumped in and did it. And ironically, the first time I ever long snapped in college was at Raymond James Stadium against University of South Florida, which is the same stadium I started my professional career.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And then my senior year, so my redshirt senior year, my fifth year, we didn't have a backup snapper or somebody that could do it. So I became the full-time snapper. And then I remember talking with Coach Schiano, and he was like, look, if you do this and you do it well, there's a real shot you could have a career at this in the NFL. So I took what he said seriously, and I got serious about snapping, worked on my craft, and then here we are today.
That is really cool. And I love how you refer to it as your craft, because I think it's such a unique talent, and it's such a unique thing to develop. And I watched a video of you. It was Coach Zana, I hope I pronounced that right, Zauner, his specialist combine, where he brings in, long snappers and kickers and holders. And watching you in that video, he refers to a lot of the location and the perfect laces and what are the measurables there? What is it that when coaches are evaluating you in the position? I mean, is it all about placement of the ball? When you hear Coach Zauner refer to perfect laces, what does he talk about there? Tell the fans a little bit about that craft, about what actually comprises that.
Yeah, so I mean, what you can definitely see at first is obviously the location, both on punts and field goals where a snapper puts the ball. You want to put it easy, where in a spot where it's easy enough for the punter to be able to catch, to handle, and then a spot he's comfortable catching the football. So some punters will like it in different positions on their body. I guess mainly a good spot if you were going to miss would be, belt buckle or the belly button. Mostly every punter likes it there. Some guys like it off their hip, some guys like it off their thigh. But belly button, belt buckle is a good spot to aim for every single time. And then not only that, but you got to be able to do this while setting backwards to block the man that you're assigned to block. So you can't just sit there and snap and then admire your work. You have to snap, get your head back up, find your guy, redirect if you need to, and then block your guy. Enough time for the punter to get the punt off and then cover downfield. So it's not just snapping. There's you got to be able to snap and block. And then for field goals, you were saying, Coach Zauner was talking about perfect laces. Well, we like the laces when the holder catches them to be pointing back, at me essentially, or at the upright, so that all the holder has to do is just put the ball down. He doesn't have to spin it. A lot of things can go wrong if a holder has to spin it too much. So we like the laces pointing back at me or at the uprights, and we call that laces at 12 o'clock. Just make the job on the holder as easy as possible, because snap to kick on a field goal, that ball is getting off in 1.3 seconds or less. So there's really not much room for error on a field goal.
That's fascinating to me that you're actually controlling the amount of rotations so where the laces are facing out towards the goalpost, or like you said, facing back at you. That's amazing, because when you watch these the videos, and I don't know how much fans have actually really watched what goes on during a place kick like that, but I mean, that thing's coming out like a rocket. I mean, you're not just lobbing it back there. I mean, I don't know what the mile per hour of that thing is, but I mean, it's moving. And so the fact that you can control the amount of rotation so the laces are faced out, that's amazing to me. That's really cool.
Yeah. I actually was explaining this to a couple of my wife's cousins on vacation, and they were asking me, what I have to do in that situation. I just told them the exact same thing I told you. And they said the same thing. They were like, wow, we never knew that you could control the laces, along with your velocity and your spin, get them, in the direction you wanted. And like anything, it comes with practice, and you got to work at it. But yeah, that's one of our jobs, is making sure the laces are always pointed, at 12 o'clock, they like to say.
So, Andrew, in the transition before you were trying to work into the NFL, I read a great article the other day in Authority magazine, and you have some fun anecdotes in there, and some other stories that I found online about how you were actually working at Best Buy before you made your way into the NFL. So between this combine and your career with the Bucs, where it started for you, you were one of those kind of Kurt Warner-y type stories where you were working a normal job, and then all of a sudden the NFL came calling. How was that? And what department did you work at Best Buy?
Yeah, I was Best Buy worker for a year and a half, and I'm trying to think back. It was after I graduated college, and I knew I wanted to continue to snap and train and work out and give it a shot at the NFL. At least a couple tries, a couple of years, a couple seasons. So, but I also at the time, needed to make some money, pay off some bills, some student loans. So, I applied to a couple jobs in the area when I was still living in New Jersey at the time. And Best Buy, honestly, was like the only job that called me back for an interview. Went in there and talked with the manager. It worked out. They hired me at the time. It was seasonally for Black Friday and Christmas shopping season. And then after that, they kept me on as part-time. And I was able to work there, like I said, for a little over a year and a half, get some money in my pocket, still be able to train, and continue to do, what my goal was to do. And then I had a stint at Under Armour back here in Baltimore for a few months before I eventually got the call again from Tampa Bay. But yeah, just something to keep me busy, keep me working, help me make some money, just to be able to keep training.
That's cool. I think that's a testament to your work ethic and character there. That and you hear those stories in the NFL about guys that are pursuing their dreams, that are really chasing it and getting after it and working hard for it. It's admirable, Andrew. I think it's awesome. It's a great story. And so you've made it. Okay. So you made it through. You play for the Bucs, you play for the Bears. Now here you are in Raider Nation. So you spent your first OTAs with the team. Tell us a little bit about that. How's the chemistry been with the guys? We have a whole, for the most part, new special teams unit, top to bottom, with the team. We have some potential new kickers. We have obviously new punter in house. We have yourself. What's it been like? What was OTAs like? How's the chemistry working out?
OTAs were awesome. They really were. I mean, it was a fun time. It was great being able to hang out with the guys, get to know, the new teammates. It was awesome for me to get to know the new specialists. New for me. Funny enough, when I was in Tampa, the punter I worked with in Tampa, Brian Anger, was roommates at Cal with Giorgio Tavecchio, the kicker at Oakland. Wow. So I had heard about Giorgio through Brian, heard about him, a couple of stories. And vice versa for him, he had heard about me through Brian Anger. So there was a little bit of background knowledge there, but like I said, we'd never met face to face. But when we finally did, we had that initial icebreaker, and then it was easier for us to kind of get along and click because we had that mutual friend. And then getting to know Johnny and Eddie and Drew Scott, three younger specialists in there, has been awesome. Those guys came in, young rookies, and I always try and remember what I was like when I was younger. I didn't know what to expect, so I always try to embrace those guys, smile, reach out to them through text message if I can before they get there, and just say, hey, this is Andrew DePaola, snapper. Look forward to having you. just to kind of break the ice and let them know that we're being welcoming here. And we want them to have the best learning experience as possible to get the best out of them because, at the end of the day, whoever the three specialists are that, going to game day, we really got to be a cohesive unit and trust each other. So, we've done a really good job at trying to become that. And then, team-wise, we have, like I'm sure you guys know, a bunch of veterans. Coach Gruden brought in a bunch of veteran guys. I think those guys understand that you really need to build a rapport with each other early to kind of go into the season together. So, like I said, there's no walls. There's no walls there. Everyone's real open, easy to talk to. We can talk about, mutual friends that we have or played with on other teams. Mutual cities, mutual states we've lived in. So it's been really awesome. It's been really great. This team is, so far what I've seen, it seems like we got something special going on, and I think we're gonna try and, make the most out of it and do our best to make the most out of it.
That's awesome. When you're working with these guys, do you ever work with the offensive line as well? Are you in on those meetings, being that you're really the center, right, on so many of those plays? Or do you transition between the two, or is it just exclusively with the specialists?
It's more so exclusively with the specialists. The only meeting I've ever been in with the O-line was with our initial field goal PAT meeting. We go over my stance and then the stance that Coach Bisaccia wants them in, and then their technique. And then, getting the two guards just to get used to me, and then for those guys to kind of get used to my mannerisms so that they don't jump off sides or that they're ready when I'm ready. So that's really the only meeting I've been in with the O-line. Now, I will pick some of the O-linemen's brain just because blocking is a little bit similar, and as far as centers go, snapping the ball and then getting your feet situated. So I'll talk to those guys here and there about what their technique is and what their best body position is to make their block. So, but I'm not in meetings with them. I don't I don't sit in with them. It's mainly just the specialists and the special teams guys.
How's Coach been? How's Coach Bisaccia been? Raider Nation's pretty fired up to when he was added to the staff. Of course, we know him from the All or Nothing series for the Cowboys last year. We got a really fly on the wall look at the at his coaching approach. How's that been? How's that relationship been for you so far?
Amazing. When I first came down to Oakland to sign my deal, he peeked his head into the room where I was signing, and we had a really nice greeting. We talked for a while. He was able to kind of give me a little bit of insight behind the scenes of what they were, doing as far as their overall plan. And just working with him out of the field, he's just got a wealth of knowledge from everywhere that he's been. It truly is amazing just to be able to work with him. And he's an intense guy. He wants and needs the best out of you, and he demands it, and he expects it. But playing for a guy like that, he's going to bring out the best in you and want to do well and play well for a guy like him because, at the end of the day, he's got your back. He's going to go to bat for you. So being able to work with a guy like that is truly a gift to me. And I'm looking forward to working with him this year and hopefully, for the entirety of my contract because he's awesome. He's awesome.
That's awesome. That's so cool to hear. Yeah, we're excited as fans. We're fired up, and we're excited to see not only the success overall of the team, but for the special teams as well, and what his impact is going to be, what your impact is going to be. It's exciting stuff for us, and so hearing you fired up about it fires me up, and I know fires Raider Nation up as well. So, Andrew, before we let you go, really, okay. So here comes the hard hitting analysis part of the show. Okay, do you ever play Madden?
Yeah, I played it. I've played it before.
What is up with long snappers not being represented fairly in the game? Did you notice that out of all the different things that go on, does that offend you? Do we need to reach out on EA on your behalf and address it with them why long snappers don't have a more viable role in the game?
I mean, to be honest with you, it doesn't offend me. It's just neat being able to see my name in a video game with my number. So no, I'm not offended by it, but I do know some guys get a little annoyed at their rating, and they think their speed is a little bit higher than what the guys give them credit for. But like I said, I don't know if those video game guys can make it to every game or practice to be able to really fully assess a player. I'm guessing they're just going off of what they see in games and everything like that. But I mean, the rating that snappers have throughout the league is a little embarrassing. But hey, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm in a video game, so I'm just happy to be in the game.
That's cool. Well, hey, listen, you're a 99 here on our show, Andrew, and you're going to be a stalwart on my Connected franchise this year. I promise you that. So, hey,
I appreciate it. I'll take the 99 rating.
There we go. Absolutely. So, how about a message to Raider Nation before we let you go? What is your overall just kind of message to the fans?
Message to the fans is I hope you guys are excited and fired up as we are, because we are absolutely fired up. We're excited. We're chomping at the bit. It's hard not to be with Coach Gruden. I mean, he is so fired up. He's so excited. He's so passionate about the game that it's intoxicating. I mean, you have no other choice but to match his level of intensity. And every time we come out of a team meeting with Coach Gruden, I'm ready to put the pads on right then and go to work. I'm like, damn, like that's better than some of these pregame speeches I've had. I'm really fired up right now. Like, let's go play a game. So, I'm excited. I know the rest of the team is excited, and I just can't wait to get out there on that field, listen to those fans go nuts. Jump into the black hole if I need to.
Yes.
You hear all the stories about that. So I'm super excited to see that in action. And hopefully they can feed off our energy, and vice versa. We can feed off them, and they can be the 12th man out there for us. So, we're really going to need them this year, and hopefully they're as excited as we are.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. It got me fired up now. I can't wait for week 1, Monday Night Football. Man, it's going to be awesome. Not only will Raider Nation be watching, but the entire nation will be watching, and we look forward to watching you get out there and donning the silver and black, Andrew. It's going to be awesome, and I can't thank you enough for joining us here on the show. I've had a great time talking to you, get to know you a little bit, and definitely look forward to having you back on again soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun. I'm really looking forward to coming back. So, I appreciate it. Thanks again.
There he is, Andrew DePaola. Pretty cool guy, right?
Yeah, great guy. Great interview. Good job, Murph.
Thank you.
Hey, I loved what he said. He said one of the things he digs about the West Coast is the food.
I know, right?
All these guys keep coming.
How about the food? And you were thinking they're East Coast guys. It's not like there's bad food on the East Coast.
I know, right?
But
they all love the food.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, pretty cool. So really, really thankful again to Andrew and his willingness to. We ran way over. Like, normally when you get a player interview, you get 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and we did almost 30. So I mean, he was really cool to kind of put up with me and all my questions. And so, man, I'm really excited for. Every time we've talked to these guys also, Mosh, I get fired up hearing them talk about the coaches and them talking about the environment. I didn't ask him once about John Gruden. He told us about John Gruden.
He said when he comes out of the meetings, he wants to put the pads and the helmet on. Let's go play a game right now.
Like, how cool is that, man?
And he goes like, how many meetings have we had? And he goes, and he's fired up every time.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's so cool to hear those guys get excited. Like that if they're excited in the locker room, like we as fans should be coming out of our skin excited, right?
Yeah, this is a guy that's been in the league for what, 6 years?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I believe he's just turned 30. So yeah, he's been playing a long time.
It's not just some guy that's just oh wow, he's enamored with Gruden. This is a seasoned vet.
Yeah, he's been around a lot of coaches and a lot of
That's
absolutely
awesome,
absolutely. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyway, so thanks again to Andrew DePaola for joining us on Raiders Fan Radio. One of our favorites, right?
Yeah,
so he's
top notch.
So
for sure.
Definitely. Really cool that the players are willing to share their time with just a little old fan podcast like ours. Uncle Mosh, that's all we got this week in this. And again, the desolate plains of Raider news. Not a lot to talk about in Raider Nation. So I guess that's
there's not a lot to talk about.
Fizzling out here, man.
So Lady Gaga.
All right, Raider Nation, that's all we got for you this week. Thank you for joining us. Check out our website, is RaidersFanRadio.com. You can buy a T-shirt there. Uncle Mosh, there we go. We only got a few T-shirts left. We've said that every week so far, and it's getting lesser and less. So the more popular sizes, so large and extra large, we only got like a couple left of each one of those. A few more of the smalls and mediums. So if you're going to get a Raiders Fan Radio T-shirt with our old logo on it, definitely get that soon. And then we'll have the new ones for you coming soon. So if you're holding out for the new logo, understand that too. And thank you for being willing to do that. But
we're going to try to get those out before the holidays so you can get order those quick.
Absolutely. We'll get those coming to you soon. But anyway, so check out our website. Where you can find us on Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio. You can find us on Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. Please like and subscribe to the show on iTunes or whatever your preferred service is. That is the best way to support us here at Raiders Fan Radio and all that we do. So thank you again for those of you that have done that in the past, and thank you to those of you that will do that in the future. Again, that is the best way to support our efforts here and what we do. So definitely check those out. If you want to hit us up directly, you can email me at murph@RaidersFanRadio.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter @_Murph. Uncle Mosh, they can contact you at
Uncle Mosh.
Uncle_Mosh.
Uncle_Mosh.
Yeah, because there's another Uncle Mosh out there, oddly enough.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Is it me?
No, but it's Uncle_Mosh to get a hold of you,
right?
And that's probably you have a Facebook.
I got a Facebook. I'm on the Facebook,
and I noticed you actually used it a little bit this week.
I did.
You liked some stuff.
I liked things. Well, I remembered how to get over there. You know, I was clicking around and I was sitting on the throne. You know,
it's the best time.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And I was checking stuff out, and I a like button, got it. You know, and yeah.
And you have like 1,500 friends now.
I do.
You do. Yeah.
I'm a popular guy.
You're a popular guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I got my own T-shirt.
You got your own T-shirt now too. Absolutely.
Are those going to be? Are we going to do those? Those going to be for sale?
We should do it.
We might do those.
We have to do an Uncle Mosh T-shirt. I would wear an Uncle Mosh T-shirt. So Ken Cruz hit me up this last week. He's also a huge Star Wars fan, and he does customized action figures. And so Ken asked if it would be okay to do a Murph action figure. Yes, absolutely. So I told him in exchange, all he asked for was a shout out to his custom action figures. They're called Monster Mash, not Monster Mosh, but Monster Mash custom action figures. So look him up on Facebook, and we'll share pictures of the action figure when I get it, and we'll proudly display it here in Murph's Fan Cave. So Monster Mash custom action figures. Hit up our buddy Ken Cruz if you want a custom action figure.
So Ken will be the one to do the Uncle Mosh bobblehead.
If we do an Uncle Mosh bobblehead. I don't know if he does bobbleheads though. I don't know, but we'll find out.
Ken can do anything.
Yeah.
My new best friend. I sent him a T-shirt for crying out
Oh,
loud.
you do? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Ken. Yeah, thank you for hitting us up for that. That'll be fun. We look forward to that.
And we need a picture of him in the T-shirt for the webpage.
Oh, yes, Ken. So, yes, if you're listening, send us back a picture of you wearing your Raiders Fan Radio T-shirt so we can share that. You can be a T-shirt model along with everybody else that's there on the website. All right, Mosh, that's it. That's all we got.
That's all we got, man.
All right. Thank you, Raider Nation, for checking us out here on episode number 86. We'll be back next week. Even though there's nothing to talk about, we will be back sharing Raiders talk with you next week on episode number 87. And Mosh, we're closing in on it, man. It's this month is training camp. We're so close. Ooh. The rookies report on July 23rd. So we are very, very close. So another episode or two before we start getting into the real news of Raider Nation. And so we definitely look forward to that.
The bad news about that is that I'll be in Donkey Land on the 21st.
Oh, that's right. You're going to Denver, aren't you?
I got a business thing I got to take care of.
So you can maybe we'll get the behind the lines report from
yeah, you might.
We'll have you call the Raiders Fan Radio hotline. I'll tell you what, that's a good segue to the Raiders Fan Radio hotline. 909-345-3346. You can call that 24/7, 365 days. Leave us a message.
Yep.
And then and now with all this open territory that we have here on the show, you can leave us a message and we will gladly play your voicemail.
Okay.
But one condition though, you got to make it good. It's got to be a good.
It's got to be good. And here's the thing about next week: we will not mention rubber-faced Phillip Rivers.
You want to hit him with a tagline, or is that it? Yeah. We might end up.
No, we can tagline him.
Okay, hit it.
That's right. Looking forward to this year when the Raiders Make it look easy in the Big Easy. I love that line. Do we play in New Orleans this year? Oh. Cool. That's really cool. Well, that just blows Lady Gaga's birth year all to hell.